Hello folks, it's Blue, and I'm with a tutorial on how to use 3 of the most vital tools for anyone modding Skyrim. And those tools are Nexus Mod Manager, Loot, and Wirebash. Now, each one serves a different purpose. Nexus Mod Manager is for managing your plugins, your load order, and installing mods you get off of the Skyrim Nexus, which is really the place you should get your mods. Best place, best variety, easier. Then Loot is for arranging your load order in such a way that it maximizes mod compatibility and minimizes your odds of a mod conflict causing crashes or freezes. Wirebash is for creating what is called a bashed patch. A bashed patch allows a number of things to happen. I will explain that as I get to it, because when I'm showing how to use Nexus Mod Manager, it will give me the perfect opportunity to bring up a couple of points about the Wirebash bashed patch and what the heck it does. But to start off, I'll do the Nexus Mod Manager. As you can see, I already have it installed, but I'll just show how you would go about getting it. You would go to your internet, go to Skyrim, SkyrimNexusMods.com. I go there a lot, so it just automatically pops up for me. Just give it a moment to load. Then you would create an account right up there. Then you would click right there, Install NMM. Right there, you just click it and it will download your installer and you're done. So, I'm not doing that because, as I said, I have this installed. I have tons of mods on it, so it would be a huge amount of effort to do it that way. So I'm just going to go into the one I already have installed. So I'll just close the window, double-click Nexus Mod Manager. Oh, and I recommend putting it to run it as administrator. It tends to make it less buggy. Now, once you're here, you'll see I already have Skyrim listed right here. But if you wanted, you can click here. And this is what you would do by default. You'd click in Rescan Installed Games. There wouldn't be the option to not scan them initially, though. So I'll just do it for the purpose of showing it. It will pop up with this window. You will see a whole list of games. Now, for this, you just find the ones you want. Like for Skyrim, I just click to check. I don't have any of these others installed. Well, other than Oblivion, I don't have any of these others installed. I'll just check Oblivion and close all the others. Then, you just click OK. Then it pops back up here and you select your game. I'm doing Skyrim, so I click Skyrim. Then I click OK. And it opens this. This is the loader. It'll load up, pop up. Just give it a moment. I might edit this bit out. I'll see. Probably not. Can't be bothered editing unless I really screw up, so I'll just let it load. And here we are in Nexus Mod Manager. By default, it would pop you here in the Plugins segment, Plugins tab, but it doesn't matter which one you pop into. Now, for here, there are a few things you do. You have your tools, which I don't know what they do because I've never used them. This lets you open up folders, like if you want to see all the install info, right here. Where it's installed and all of that, you just go there. It's also how you back up. You would back this up. Right here, you'd back this up and a couple other areas of the Nexus Mod Manager if you were backing it up for a major Nexus update. Opening the game folder does what it says. It opens up your Skyrim folder, which, as you can see, is quite heavily modded. Then if you go over to your settings, it's the settings. You can do all this general. Then you have your mod options. I always just set it at that. Download options. Then where your mods go and all of that. I just left it at default, so I can't really say much about that. Over here is your help if you needed info, you could go to the wiki or the forums or wherever. This changes the game mode. So you click here, and you could swap over to Oblivion, or if you've installed a mod that wasn't a Nexus mod, you would just click up here and click Skyrim again, and it would reload your plugin list for you. This here checks for updates, or given I have one update that I haven't done yet, it updates. So this checks for updates, or updates depending. Now the plugin segment here is for enabling and disabling plugins. Like say I wanted to play just Skyrim and the update, nothing else. You would untick each plugin here, just remove it all. Or you would, in that case, just click disable all the active plugins, and you could enable all the inactive ones, like so. Now, I'm not doing that because this load order is a little unstable as it is. So once you're done there, you go over to the mods. This is where you install things. As again, you can see I have plenty of them. Some installed, some not. If they have the little red X, that means they're not installed. If they have the green check, it means they are installed. Now, to install, you would first need to download your mod, for one thing. So I'll just pick something to download. What needs an update? I'll just go to one of these. I'll just imagine I wanted this one. We'll just say I wanted that one. You would find your mod on the Nexus. You'd go to Files, like so. It would give you a list of things. You could do most downloaded, or you could go over to the top files, or files of the month. And again, it will tell you the top files ever, and the files most popular of the month, and blah blah blah. And you get my idea there. So I'll just pretend I want this mod here. Actually, I think this is a big one. Is it? Oh yeah, that's big. I'm gonna just go for a smaller one so I can better show what this is. So let's just do most downloaded. Find something tiny. Hang on, I know. I remember one. Here we go. This is a very small one. I'm just doing this for a tutorial. I don't actually care about this. You'd click right there, download with manager. Then you allow the website to open the program, Nexus Mod Manager. You click allow. Then it pops up over here in the download manager. You just hover over this little tab right here for your downloads. It will download for you. As it is now, it hasn't fully started yet, but it is in fact downloading. You just have to give it a moment. Ah, there we go. And it's added in. It downloaded, completed, added to the list. So now we'll search for it. Ultra. Here it is. Now to install, you just double click. That's all. You double click it, it pops up down here in the mod activation queue, and you are done. Your mod is installed, it's added to the plugin list right over here, and oh wait, no, not with that one, sorry, because it doesn't need an ESP, but if it was an ESP mod, it would be there. So to uninstall, it's the same process, you just double click and it's gone. Now just to show how this works again, I'll find something that would have something more complicated installation. I'll use immersive animations. You double click it, and in some there's a separate little installer where you choose what you install. So in this case you do the main module, you just tick the ones you want, like the main files, then it has optional ones. Each of the little installers is different depending, so this isn't how they all look. They all look similar, but not all of them, so we'll just pretend we wanted that. You'd click finish, then down here in the queue it shows it is installing. Then you see you're done, it's installed, and if you go over to plugins, it's not there. So okay, clearly it's just not ESP type mods, so it's usually there if you had something that... Oh, here's one that I can use. Armor of the Circles. It's an armor mod, and it will pop up. Yep, right there. In the plugins, you would untick it if you don't want it active, or tick it if you do. Now, moving your load order with this is also simple. You click the mod or mods you want, and you just drag it up or drag down. That's all you have to do for that. You click it, there's a little line, and where the line is where the mod would go. That's all. And that was how Nexus Mod Manager works. Now, to go, as I'd said, I will be going into some info about Wire Bash and why you'd need it. A good example is Immersive Armors here. If you have two mods that change something similar, like these two mods here, Warmonger Armory and Immersive Armors, they both change what's called the leveled lists. The leveled lists are what tell the game you put one of these items on this unit, or soldier, or bandit, or whatever. If you have two things that modify the same leveled list, whichever one is at the bottom of your plugin list, lowest down, is the one that will take precedence. So if you had the Warmonger mod there, and it modified the bandit leveled list, let's say, you will not see any Immersive Armors on bandits, because Warmonger Armory is changing the leveled list the bandits need. But the way around it is to use Wire Bash and create what's called a bashed patch, where it can merge all those leveled lists, all those changes to the leveled lists, into one patch, ESP, this, that you put at the absolute bottom of your load order. Well, in my case, almost the bottom, because the Sounds of Skyrim mods tend to not really work all that well if they aren't all the way at the bottom. But for the bashed patch, you just have it at the bottom, or as close as possible, and it modifies all the leveled lists you need all at once, and you can have all your armors at once. So you would, in the example I'd shown, have both the Warmonger Armory and Immersive Armors in the same mod at the same time on the same people if they would spawn. Now, using and downloading is quite simple once again. I have a small bug with it, but it's an easy fix. So now we go back to Skyrim Nexus mods, give it a moment, files, give it a moment, search for Wire Bash. I'll include links in the description to Wire Bash and loot to make things easier for you. Mixed it up myself, it's R-Y-E, not Y-R-E. Here we go. Here it is. Now once you're here, you go to Files, then you would click Download Manually, because you can't install this one in any other way. You just click your... I personally recommend the standalone executable, because you don't have to install it or any of that. You just download it and it goes wherever. Now you'd click Download Manually. You would completely ignore that right there. Down here you'd save as, save it there. Now I already have it downloaded, so I'm not going to, but if you were downloading it, that's how you'd go about it. Then you go, in my case, to your your downloads. Then you'd see right here is Wire Bash in a 7-zip file. You would need WinRAR, or in my case 7-zip, to extract that file so you can get to it. Now once you've extracted it, you go up, and you'll see right there Wire Bash, same name in a folder. You'd open your folder, then to the Mopey, then you would click Wire Bash EXE. You just double click it. Now it will pop up in just a moment. Here it is. Just give it another moment. It's going to pop up with an error for me because of the number of ESPs and ESMs I have in my folder. Yep, too many mods, it gets mad at me for it, so. Now there's a second little bug that I personally encounter, so I'll show how to fix it. You just would go into your task manager, click Wire Bash, click the little arrow there, and you'll see warning corrupt / unrecognized files. It gets mad about one of the specific mods that I use, so you just have to click that and end its task. Once you end the task, this will open up. I only just started encountering this error, so it's highly likely that you will never encounter it, but if you do, that's how you fix it. Now, once you're in Wirebash, you only need this menu, the mods menu, for the main use of it. You'll see a big list of plugins. This also functions as a load order modifier, but there's no reason to bother. Nexus works just as well. Now, right here, you'll see bashed patch 0. It will, if you've just downloaded this and never used it before, it will ask you if you want to make one. Just say yes. Process for creating it is the same, one way or the other. Now, you would right-click your bashed patch, then you'd click Rebuild Patch, because it's already there. Now, this menu here is what you'd get if you had never created a bashed patch and you were just creating one now. So, right-clicking the bashed patch and that stuff is not needed if you are just starting to use this. Now, from here you'll see merging patches, which is for if you have too many mods in your load order. You could merge a group of mods together to make things easier for you and let you have more mods. Importing names, I'm not quite sure what it does, but I leave it checked because it's default checked and it only does things from a couple things. Then you import your stats. Again, not quite sure what it's for, but it's always default checked, so I just leave it. Then, to keep it, the leveled lists. Now you click automatic, and you would see it's all there. Except for one, which I always click automatic, click add. Then I do one specific one for war zones and monster wars, because I think the leveled lists don't show up with this one, but outside of that, the automatic is very good. Now, once you've done that, you have all your leveled lists chosen, your mods, and you're done with that, you just click Build Patch. You click it, it pops that window there, it will build your patch for you. Just give it a moment. Then it will pop up with this little window right here. It doesn't mean much to me, really, but it does it. It does what you ask it to, so I just say okay to that. And you are done with Wirebash. That's how it works. You have made yourself a nice bashed patch, and it will work fine for you, and you will have your leveled lists all merged up and reusable. Now we'll just X out of that and go into our final tool of the day. It is Loot. This is for arranging your plugin load order. It just sets them up and can warn you if there's a problem. Like, for example, I'll slap one mod in that I know has an issue. The Vampire Eyes fix. Just put that in so I can show the example. Now, to get loot, you go to Google. You Google Skyrim loot in caps. Then you just click Loot Home. Click it. Then you're here. You download Loot Stable. Then it will pop you here to GitHub. Then you just click down here, Loot Archive.7z. Again, I recommend the archive, but the installer, I presume, works. I used the archive version, though. So then you'd save it save it there, but again, I already did that prior to this, because I use this frequently, so I don't need to do that. Now, same process for extracting. You go to it, you find its little thing. Okay, where is it? There it is. Now you'd click it, you'd use WinRAR or Loot mean 7-zip or whatever to extract the thing, then you get your folder for loot right there, loot.archive. You just double click it, then you see your loot.exe. You double click that, and it pops up with this very simple little window. This one's all you need. You select your game if you had multiples, like if you were doing it for both Fallout 3, Oblivion, and Skyrim, you just have to hover over game and click the one you're trying to do right now. In my case, only Skyrim has anything, so none of these menus do matter in this case. Then you click Sort Plugins right there. You click, it will work. It will, thus this thing saying working. So you just give it a moment. There you go. Now here you have your created load order. I tend to just accept it, except for one exception. With the Sounds of Skyrim, because it tends to put them near the front of the load order, I have to set their priority higher so they'll appear right at the front. To set priority, I tend to just use the bashed patch as my example. You see the priority number right there. I just copy the number. Then I would click a different one and just paste it in like that. However, I'm not doing that. It just makes it so the thing loads higher, like you put a positive number for your load order. The higher the number, the farther back in the load order it goes. The lower the number, the further forward. Like, that's why you see, like, Update, ESM, and all of these at, like, negative 990,000 because of that. So then you would just click to accept that and apply. Then you'll see this, the Loot Report Viewer. This tells you how many plugins are active. It gives you any warnings, errors, dirty plugins, total plugins, messages. Dirty plugins, I'm not really sure what they are exactly. They're theoretically bad, but I've never had problems with them. Then you've got your warnings and your errors. The errors are the ones you really have to worry about, because they could cause problems, or it could just be that it's an excessive mod that you don't need. It's one that you already have in a different mod. So I know which one this is. It's the vampire one. What's the Warzone problem? Oh, this thing's mad. Yeah. Then you just keep going. Nope, it didn't pop up either. Let's see. Just go until we find it. Where are you? Come on. Where are you? There we go. Error. Delete. And it says why. It's already in the unofficial Skyrim patch. That's just to show it. It shows up in red, and it tells you, get rid of this, there's a problem. Or just simply like this, it's already in another mod you have. So once you've done that, you just X out of the window, and you're done. Your plugins are sorted, and your odds of crashing have probably been reduced because of it. If your plugins are well sorted, you don't have to worry. Now I just accidentally moved the plugin, so I'm going to just, again, it'll show what to do again anyway. Then you just apply it. Once it's done, if you have no edits, then you X out of there, then you're done. So, that was my tutorial on how to use the Nexus Mod Manager, Loot, and Wirebash. Thank you for watching, folks. I'll include links to Loot and Wirebash in the description below. Nexus Mod Manager, I already showed where to get that.